Hello and welcome back to another weekly review of the latest and greatest in TV episodes. We've been on a journey with Servant Season 2. This is on Apple TV Plus, and this is episode 6, Espresso. Which something me and Taylor both enjoy. We love a nice cup of Joe. So as we mentioned last week's episode was kind of a letdown. Not much happened. Not much moved the plot. This was definitely back on track to keeping up with the quality of the show that I think me and Taylor have come to enjoy. We got a lot more information in this episode, and a lot more was going on, and it just was all around like, all right, we're back in. So this was titled Espresso. We knew that in previous episodes we've kind of seen the path of how Jericho died via Dorothy, and a lot of blame being put on Dorothy, but we actually got some background in this episode that espresso machine, that Sean is the only one that can use it, only one that can make a good cup of Joe out of it. We see the process of through flashbacks of when they got the espresso machine, and we kind of see the plot points here of how he got that guest, judge on the chef show, which is when he was gone during the time period when Dorothy was alone with the newborn Jericho, in which he passed. So I thought that was really important that they've started to pinpoint a little bit more towards the blame was not solely on Dorothy, that Jericho, was left in the situation because his dad was off recording. So I thought that was interesting that Sean, we're seeing a little bit more of his walls break down of, what was he doing during that time? Because through this whole show so far, I've kind of viewed him. As like the savior in a way,
I mean,
the good guy. So
he's more of the protagonist, and with him kind of like trying to like clean up after and take care of Dorothy, and he's still, his hands are dirty with all this. So it's I think more evolving. I think with especially this season, more of the religious themes of redemption and forgiveness and kind of facing your sins. So yeah, definitely it was definitely heating up with that, which I'm really excited about. And of course, I love the guy who plays Leanne's uncle. He just is like so crazy in this episode, and we're seeing a little bit more of. I think we're getting more of that concrete message or idea that Leanne has supernatural abilities. It's been teased. We're not really sure, but this one kind of, I think, cemented it further. Speaking of cement, talking about, the basement that's kind of falling apart as he's mentioning the foundations. So it's like, okay, so now, she's a force to be reckoned with. And he's like, something about that she has to be where she belongs.
Yeah. And it was a little dark when it got to points where they were like, maybe we should go along with this, just go along with the spiel. Maybe if I talk to him, eye to eye, Sean's kind of being like, let me just talk to him as a human. Maybe that way he'll trust me. We can get more information. And of course, Julian's like, are you insane? Like, Julian's ready to punch this man, which I thought was such a funny scene when he was like, he's like, look, I've only been 3 fights and one of them was with a girl. So let's go. Like he was ready to fight this.
And
man.
I love the line when he was like quoting the prayer in the Bible, and he's like, welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games, Guns N' Roses. I was just like, I was dying. It was perfect.
The quick little witticism, but Sean talking to the uncle, and the uncle, he started to kind of reveal in a way that this cult of people were people that were given a second chance at life in a way. So it kind of makes you think, are these people dead? I mean, looking at the uncle alone, the uncle from the beginning when he came in season 1, about halfway through, he's really dirty, disheveled.
His shoes
feet
are falling apart.
Gross.
Yep.
He just looks like he could have been someone that's walked out of a grave. Like he could have, that kind of is the image. He kind of, not to a skeletal point, but like he just looks like he was covered in dirt. And so I was kind of like, is that what they're alluding to? Is that this cult is a group of people that were brought back for a higher purpose in their religious kind of zeitgeist in their mind? And But then it gets to that kind of eerie place where he's starting to go a little more crazy, like, wait, what did you do to Leanne exactly? Like, he wants to know the details because he's kind of making it seem like her presence in certain parts of the house is actually what's causing the house to deteriorate,
Yeah.
to, why Sean was losing his tastes and his feelings and all this stuff. And we had, like, you brought up that one time we had that little connection with her writing his name in her little Bible.
Yeah.
So it brings up the mystery, like, and they've really played. I kind of like that the show started off showing Sean as with any typical kind of husband in a way, uh, based on the relationship at that point he had with Dorothy. Even though I'm sure he still loved her,
Yeah.
there was the new beauty in the house that caught his eye, and they show that imagery of like him kind of taking a liking to Leanne.
Yeah.
But they've kind of formed this protective bond with each other, almost somewhat father-daughter like, because they're both kind of seeing the craziness of Dorothy,
Well, yeah, and
which continues in this episode.
yeah, and she's seeing all the
That's crazy.
the nuttiness of her, and she knows the stuff she's done, and she's like, you need to confront her, and he's like, no, like she's fine, and so he's in denial, and he's denial about his part and everything, but I think that's also his guilt is causing him to continue to go with his lie, and Julian's just kind of like, I'm just here to just like keep the peace. He likes to be that kind of like the fixer. He's the uncle. Oh, I got this, but he's kind of like, this has just gone too far as well.
But then it eventually led to that kind of finale moment where the uncle kind of got the sense that she had been put into that section of the basement, which is crumbling.
Yeah.
And he started to like pray, and he was kind of leading Sean to believe if you take Leanne back to where she's supposed to be, you'll be saved in all this. And then Sean kind of doubles down and is like, Leanne's like pleading with him, you have to take me somewhere, but you can't take me there. Like, you take me, and he's kind of like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of seeing like, oh, maybe Leanne is in danger, and not only from these people, but also clearly my wife, who almost killed her 2 episodes ago. So then we see on this TV report, I love that they show this news report that the house that Leanne had just worked at as a babysitter, which was where they dropped off that pizza, all those crazy kids walking around, that there was like a gun murder spree that happened. And it's like, and they can't find anybody, and there's bodies, and it's like, but Leanne's been here this whole week, so who did that?
Yeah.
That's what it was like. Oh, is this the cult members trying to find Leanne, and maybe anyone that's talked to Leanne? Maybe it's a silencing thing, like they saw too much, get him out. Or so now is the family in danger?
It could be that, or it could just be supernatural, like anyone that bad luck.
Suicide.
Or bad luck, just befalls, kind of like the monkey's paw or something like that. Good things happen, but there's a price. So yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of like Edgar Allan Poe kind of darkness.
Yeah, a little darkness in there. And then I love the image of the uncle getting up from his prayer and just cockroaches coming out of.
Oh yeah, it's just like, oh my god.
That was kind of creepy, and then just what have you done? Yeah. He's very dramatic when he asks these questions. Yeah. So that was the big cliffhanger. Is we got some gunshots over at this house. Who did it? We don't know. And will Sean end up taking Leanne somewhere else? Is kind of the big question we're at right now. So we still have 4 episodes left of season 2. Still a fair amount. It's about 2 hours of material. But I guess the question on my mind is how much will be wrapped up, and how many seasons are planned?
Yeah.
At this point. Because I can see at least a 3rd season.
I think see a to wrap it up nicely, yeah. Well, I would say we wanted to figure out what the whole thing is with this cult thing. Leanne, is she supernatural? Do we get that baby back? And then is Sean and Dorothy going to come to grips? And is she going to come to grips ever with reality? Because I'm just getting frustrated at this point. I'm like, come on, just tell her already. But I think that's a frustrating thing, I think, and it shows like the effects of mental illness. So I think that's just a powerful, image and a thing throughout this show that.
Yep, trauma can really take its toll, and that's kind of been the thing, is we've kind of alluded to maybe psychological horror, but a lot of it is just literally psychological. It is
Mhm.
just the mind playing tricks on you and making you believe. And this whole fake baby, real baby really took a turn back in season 1. So excited to check out the rest of Servant. We'll be back next week with another weekly episode review. And we've also been reviewing WandaVision. So go ahead and check out those videos as well. And season 3. Season 3? Wow, that'd be amazing if we jumped ahead that fast.
Yeah.
Season 2 of the Potential Podcast
Yes.
is starting in just like about 2 weeks by now. It's starting beginning of March of this year. So coming up, folks, we're actually working on our first big episode back in just a few days. So we can't wait to bring back the Potential Podcast. But thanks for tuning in today.
Exactly.
And also, if you want to leave comments,
please write down here.
Taylor.
Yeah, go for it.
Write them down. We want to hear your thoughts.
We want to hear what you want to say. If you got any theories, let us know. And also, if there's other shows or movies you want us to review, we'll put them here on the YouTube page. But as Chris said, more to come.